We are Flint River Presbytery.
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 A multi-part video series by Presbyterians for Presbyterians. The vision of our executive presbyter, We Are Flint River Presbytery, introduces church members and church officers to the shared mission, organization, and resources of our presbytery right here in Southwest Georgia.
Flint River Presbytery is the most friendly, welcoming, loving, caring, communicating presbytery I have ever been a part of.
Well, I like the way that Flint River looks after its churches, and see, especially the smaller churches that really need the support right now. And that's the good thing about having that larger organization that you can depend on to help you out in bad times and rough times.
In years past, when we have been without a pastor, they have come and stepped into places where we've needed a pastor for preaching on Sunday, or having session meetings and providing a moderator. Or if we just have questions, we know we can pick up the phone and ask those questions, and they're there for us. And in past, when we have had conflict or problems, Presbytery has been right there and guided us through those issues, of which helped solve a lot of problems and keep us from having to have a small problem become a huge problem.
I like the size of this presbytery. It enables us to get to know one another in a more substantial way. The presbytery staff, Deb, Elizabeth, are there, and it is clear that they are here to help and to serve. And they do such a great job at the way that we relate to one another. I guess this is my fifth presbytery in my ministry thus far. And, we Presbyterians can stand on the rules and regulations. We can be Pharisaic to a fault to that point. But this presbytery has done a great job with saying these are the ones that are important, but where they cease to grow and develop and nurture relationships, maybe we need to think about how to do those in other ways.
It was a stay over the night confirmation class where they basically taught us what it meant to be a Presbyterian and what it meant to be part of the church and what made us different from other denominations. And it was really fun. I wasn't really understanding before that of what it meant to be Presbyterian totally, and the reasons why we do some of the stuff we do. But after that, I knew a lot more about why we baptize babies when they're born and what happens afterwards. And now I'm available to be a member of the church if I so choose.
The presbytery overall has become more of a family than anything else to me. The cohesion between growing up as a youth and meeting the youth across the presbytery and growing up with them and keeping up with them today just to see where they are and how they've been it's a worthwhile experience you can't get anywhere else. And the presbytery gave me that opportunity, and I continue to serve today in different capacities, but the presbytery has always been there for me, and I'll be there for them as long as I can.
Flint River Presbytery is the best run presbytery of all the presbyteries I've worked in. It's the best organized, best run, the most well-oiled machine of them all, and I credit the leadership. The leaders have led with courage and kindness and determination.
That's, being on these different committees throughout the presbytery. I have learned more about our churches being connected. I remember, like 20 years ago, I would go to different churches and everybody would talk about being connected. But sometimes connected is not what you say, it's what you feel. And so, sometimes I didn't feel as connected. But since I've been participating and I'm learning things and I'm seeing things, I do feel the connection. I truly feel I can come to your church. I can go to First Albany. And, I would feel the spirit there. And so, and that can only be connected through our corporate love for Christ.
But another thing about our presbytery that I love is that we use outreach as a way to unite us. We have community outreach, not just what's happening in our local churches.
I have always appreciated having someone I can call and say help. But there have been so many things we've done. I've been fortunate enough to go on some of the presbytery trips, and that has been not just the travel piece, but the really getting to know other people better than you can if it's just a couple of hours meeting you're sitting and visiting before and after the meeting. So just so many ways to stay in touch with people. Presbytery has always been there for our church, and so it's had programs for the whole family, not just for the preachers and the elders. And just does so many things for the congregation. I can't really think of anything it doesn't do.
Our presbytery, maybe more than any other, and maybe I'm just biased, is rooted in relationships. And we treasure those relationships. We fertilize those relationships. And it has been an absolute blessing and joy to watch those relationships grow.
Right. So I think that one thing that's really important about what the presbytery does for pastors is it makes the point to connect pastors with each other. At different times, there have been small group studies like with pastors and connections that get made. If someone gets sick or hurt, we all know about it. And we do our best to encourage and support each other. I got cards from pastors I'd never met when I started at Warner Robins, and when Violet was born. She's almost 3 now, and I still have some of those cards. It's just really sweet to see the connections get formed.
And then I also moved up to be Synod moderator for 2 years, which put me with a lot of presbyteries and the Synod exec, whom also came a lot to our meetings. And every one of them that came always said the same thing. Y'all just have the best functional presbytery that we see. I mean, your hospitality is fabulous. Your process is fabulous. You do things right. And you love each other, and it's obvious. You're connected. I mean, it just beams. And
yes, I one of the things I like and have enjoyed about the Presbyterian churches I have belonged to is that there's a little bit of an intellectual bent to them. There's an appreciation of learning and education in the Presbyterian church, which is not necessarily present in many other denominations or churches, and that speaks to me. Of course, you have to have the heart for the church, but I like the head part too.
Which even though that's a smaller presbytery, there was a little bit more of a sense of bureaucracy and even hierarchy and inaccessibility. I would say in Flint River, there's no sense of that. There's no sense of inaccessibility. If I need to talk to Deb, right, I can just text her, I can just call her, and she is accessible. And for the executive to be that accessible is really actually a huge gift. Elizabeth is also a great gift to the presbytery as a secretary. She, she's very accessible as well, and she's very knowledgeable. If you have a question, you can always email her. She pretty much always has an answer for you. So I would say that the looseness, and by that I mean sort of a freedom, a laid back somewhat kind of attitude. And by laid back, I just mean, again, not rigid, not hierarchical, not overly bureaucratic, but wanting to be light and relaxed and open and accessible. Those are major. I mean, those are huge gifts that Flint River offers anyone who's involved with this.
The ability, I think, of the presbytery to focus more on its ministries and its members than on the rules. I mean, I think any organization, including presbyteries, and from what I hear, a lot of them tend to get very bureaucratized, and the longer the bureaucracy is in place, the more bureaucratized they get. So I think it's helpful, and I admire the ability of this presbytery to focus on its mission and focus on its congregations, focus on its pastors, and obviously not ignoring the rules, but keeping the rules in perspective.
They've led with prayerful discernment. They've given opportunities for everyone to be leaders, and there have been wonderful relationships built through the presbytery. Some of my great friends I've met through presbytery work, and it's Flint River is just a wonderful organization that encourages all of us to love each other, grow with each other, and to be there for each other. And I credit them for the success of our churches, as well as the wonderful relationship that we have together.
It's just like its name. It's just like a river flowing. And for African Americans and Africans, the flowing water represents a lot. And for me, Flint River has been that river, that flow that has carried me. It's been deep at times, and it's been shallow at times, but it's always clear, precise, and on point.
What do I love about Flint River? Oh my gosh, what do I not love about Flint River? First, I love the people. I love their commitment. I love your wisdom. I love how all of you come from different regions, different periods of life, different life experience, and come together for the common purpose of serving Jesus in our presbytery to strengthen our congregations that we may give light to the world. So I love the people. I love your wisdom, your commitment, your diligence, your generosity. I love that our presbytery is more focused on building relationships than following rules. I love that our presbytery is small, and I love that our presbytery embraces the fact that we're small, that it's a gift to be small, not a hindrance. I love that we're trying to pray and ponder, and prayer is the center of everything we do to try and discover what Jesus has next for us. And I love that in general we lead not out of fear but out of hope. I think that's critical for us. So those are some of the things I love about Flint River.